begin with Tim Reynolds, Associated Press.
Thanks, Joel. Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Tim.
Jeff, when we last talked to you a couple of weeks ago in the season postmortem, you said that, you know, this is, I'm paraphrasing you, but I think I got the gist right. This is excited as you've ever been for what you're about to, you know, this walk that you're about to go on.
Yep.
Is that tempered at all now, knowing that you're going to do it without Cliff? I guess, how does this affect the excitement level?
Not at all. You know, listen, first, let me begin. I probably should have just kicked this off by saying thanks to Cliff for everything. You know, he's helped us move the team forward. You know, have had a good relationship with him, and you know, organizationally and personally, wish him nothing but the best going forward. So let me first say that. But you know, I also respect Cliff for the fact that he can kind of assess, you know, where he is in his career, and obviously we've repositioned our team, and so you know, there has to be alignment. There has to be alignment in everything you do in this league, and if there's not alignment, then it'll undermine everything. So you know, I remain as excited as I've ever been since I've been here. You know, I've spoken to all the players today, and they're excited. And obviously, as we wish the best for Cliff, you know, we move forward. I think it's going to be a very exciting summer for us. We have a lot to learn going forward, and this is honestly, we have to look at it this way. And I always look at a chance to add new people to our staff as a growth opportunity. I'm really excited to meet with you know, bright candidates and a lot of coaching candidates that I've heard a lot of good things about, and kind of see where that takes us. But in no way does this diminish in any way the prospects for our team and the belief that we have that we're growing something special here.
Jeff, as a quick follow, I know I shouldn't say I know, I'm going to presume that you guys and Cliff didn't wake up this morning and say, let's start talking about this and get it. I mean, I'm sure there's been conversations. That said, Boston opened on Wednesday, Portland opened yesterday. Was there an urgency to kind of get in the process if you're going to make a change? Was there an urgency, knowing that there's a finite number of jobs in this league? You don't want to be, you want to have your choice of candidate. Did that affect the timing at all? The fact that there are other openings now?
You know, that's a good question, Tim. I don't think so. Maybe more, you know, there are more candidates than there are jobs. So, you know, maybe, you know, that might be a question, you know, for Cliff. But I think that the most important thing is, you know, that both sides wanted to do this the right way, you know, for one another. And I think that we moved as expeditiously as possible, you know, to this conclusion. But I don't think there were any kind of external pressures that were driving us forward or anything like that.
Thanks, Jeff. Good luck.
Thank you.
Mike Bianchi, Orlando Sentinel.
Hey, Jeff, when exactly did you guys come to this decision? And is it safe to say that Cliff is on the job market now? Is that one of the reasons he gave for his part of this decision?
Well, you know, as to when exactly this happened, obviously, you know, as Tim alluded to, these were discussions that we were having. But when the decision was, you know, when the agreement was reached was this morning. So, you know, we let you guys know pretty much ASAP, and you know, so that's how it, you know, shook out. Obviously, there were, as Tim mentioned, there were discussions leading up to that. You know, Mike, like as for you're saying, I'm sorry, you're saying for Cliff's next position?
Yeah, what was, you said that your timeline doesn't sort of jive with his timeline. Is that what he sort of said? I want to go look for a team that might want to win right now.
Oh, I see. Yeah, look, I you know, honestly, Mike, I don't really get into, you know, what Cliff's next step is. I mean, that's up for him to decide, and, you know, speak with his agent and figure out, you know, I'm sure he'll suss out what's available and what he wants to do. But obviously, yeah, I mean, the timeline is the most, I think, was the most significant part of our discussions in reaching this, conclusion is that just, at Cliff's place that he's at in his career, and just where he is. Obviously, we've repositioned our team, and the alignment just wasn't there. So, as to like what his next steps will be, obviously, that's I think the way he feels. So if he's going to be involved in future positions, I'm assuming they'd be more of that ilk. If that helps.
Thank you.
Josh Robbins, The Athletic.
Jeff, 2 questions, if I may. First question is, what is the status of the assistant coaches who worked under Steve? Are they still under contract and working for the Magic?
Yes, they are. And I don't want to get too deep into that, Josh, because I've not had a chance to speak with everyone yet. But the answer to your question is yes.
Thank you. What are the qualities that you're looking for in the next head coach?
Josh, I think that this is similar to where we were last time, and I know there will be a host of questions about the process and the qualities and characteristics that we're looking for in the next coach. And I'll just kind of say this, we've been through this before with you guys, so it's going to look the same. I don't have a cookie cutter answer for you. I can't tell you that we're going to look for a young guy or a guy with experience or without. We're going to meet with a host of bright, sharp, coaching candidates, and kind of see where they take us. Obviously, we need to develop a great number of talented young players, and that will figure into the conversations. But I don't think there's a right answer to, is there a right age or experience level to, be able to accomplish your goals. It's just the right person. It's finding the right person. So. That's what we'll be, looking for and figuring out that alignment. It's everything. So that's what we'll be looking for, and I really look forward to, beginning that process.
You good, Josh?
Is that good?
Good. Yep. Brian Kravitz, 96.9 The Game.
Hey, Jeff, I'm curious if that time away was crucial to this process. You had mentioned in the last press conference that we had that everybody just needed to get away for a minute and breathe. Is this what that was for? Or did you kind of anticipate that this might happen? And is that why you wanted some time away first?
Well, it was such a crazy, compressed, season without precedent that, and especially the way it ended for us with so many injuries and so many guys out, and honestly so much losing, that it became heavy. And I know that every team in the league kind of felt like we need to exhale and get away. That happens any season, but more than most this year. So that wasn't just me or Cliff. That was our whole group. When we just told everybody just go. As I told you guys, we refinished our floor. The doors weren't open. But yeah, to your point, obviously, Cliff and I did meet the day after. The day after I did meet with the players with exit interviews, and we met the following day, and yeah, like we did kind of have these discussions about hey, get away, decompress, think about things, and that was kind of the beginning of these conversations.
Dan Savage, OrlandoMagic.com.
Jeff, I know you guys are, entering the rebuild, but with the young talent on this roster, the draft capital you guys have, location, et cetera, just how attractive do you see this position being for candidates that you may potentially hire?
I can tell you that I think it's going to be an attractive destination, but I know it is, so like the phone's already, as you can imagine, a lot of people have been reaching out. I just think I think that I understand, the history of the team and the organization, and that we've turned a lot of coaches over. And, I'm sensitive to, the years that we went through, since I've been here and even prior to my arrival. but we're in a good place right now. And I really believe this is a coveted job. It might even surprise some people. I think the way that some of the kind of more high profile jobs, would be, put into a basket with this job. This job has tremendous growth potential, which is very attractive. It has organizational strength and ownership behind it. We're moving into a new practice facility next year. There are a lot of good things happening here. And, most importantly, we have a lot of, bright, young, talented players. So I do think that this is going to be a coveted job. I can tell you that it's going to be. And I really look forward to, starting to go through the process of meeting with some candidates.
Pat Welter, Spectrum Sports.
Jeff, do you feel like the injuries to Jonathan Isaac and Markel Fultz were kind of the catalyst for all of this change? And if that hadn't happened, then maybe the trade deadline moves don't happen, and then maybe Steve Clifford is still the coach here going forward?
I mean, that's a hypothetical question, and that no one can ever answer. I see the narrative. I mean, like that's a pretty logical through line. So I'm not here to refute it. Obviously all we can deal with is what did happen and where we are, and that I consider ourselves fortunate that we were able to make the pivot that we did at that time, and remain, as I said, greatly excited about our prospects right now. That said, I mean, it has a rationale behind it, but who knows? Who knows what would have happened? Maybe someone else would have gotten hurt, or maybe, the team would have disappointed. I don't know. I will say this. I expected us to be a playoff team this year with the possibility of being a home court team. And the way that the East, shook out this year, I remain kind of firm in the belief that was a possible outcome. But beyond that, it's hard to, speculate on woulda, coulda. This is where we are. And honestly, I never, obviously, aside from the fact that we have players with injuries, which is obviously the first thing in this league that you try to avoid at all costs. Aside from that, I feel like we're better positioned now than we've been since I've been here.
Okay, Rob Parks, 48minutes.com.
Hey, Jeff, good to see you. So I know it just happened this morning. What I don't know if you've thought about this as of yet. It's been a few hours, but what is your timeline looking like, just because of how everything is shaking out? And then number two, I don't know how true this is, but I saw the name Penny Hardaway thrown out there. He has a great relationship with a lot of young guys. He's able to connect with them. He's done a great job at Memphis. Is that a name that's in consideration?
Well, Rob, I mean, first of all, I hate to give you non-answers on these, but, as you guys know, I'm not big on timelines, whether it's, injuries or building the team, or, for sure, hiring a coach. I think that we need to do this the right way and find the right guy. Obviously, I hope that comes sooner than later, especially given the nature of this compressed summer. We ended a month late, and we're going to start on time next year. And, we have a whole lot popping right now with, the lottery and getting ready for the draft, and, moving right into summer league and back at it. So hopefully we can operate quickly, but obviously we won't sacrifice, being quick for getting it wrong. And as to, Penny, I mean, I don't know Penny. Obviously he's,
Uh-oh.
Together now, our management group, and discuss kind of what our next steps are, and who we want to reach out to. And obviously a lot of people have been reaching out to us, so we'll kind of let that unfold and see where we go from there. But as you guys know, I won't, as we go through the process, I'm not going to confirm or deny candidates or people that we're speaking with. I feel like those done in a way where we respect the fact that most of these other guys have jobs, and we try to protect their own interests as well.
Okay, we'll go to Jamie Say, WKMG.
Hi, Jeff. I know in your in your first statement, you said this doesn't temper your expectations, your excitement for this team. But is it disappointing at all to lose a coach of Clifford's caliber who got some results apart from this season because of the injury? You had a coach in place who did win some games for you, got you to the playoffs. Or is this not a bad time to do this because there's so much newness with this group right now?
You know, Jamie, I don't really look at it as disappointed or excited or you know, I don't approach, you know, my job that way. You know, we understand, you know, what the situations are, and there are 1,000 situations surrounding our teams, from players to coaches to staff to timetables and everything else that's going on. And we try to look at every situation for what it is and address it in the best possible way. So, you know, there's no, you know, emotion attached to that. You know, obviously, you know, I wish the best for Cliff as he goes forward. But you know, I look at this as, you know, part of this job is staked on the alignment, as I said, and you know, I'm going to keep leaning on this because this is, you know, I know you guys are trying to get to the whys, and the whys is quite simple here, and the why is just the alignment. And if Cliff is, you know, questioning whether the positioning of our team aligns with his own kind of career positioning, then, you know, then he's probably not the right guy at that point, you know. And I appreciate the fact that Cliff can look himself in the mirror and, you know, have those conversations with himself, because I don't think a whole lot of people can do that, and have those conversations with me, you know. And so I'm excited to be meeting with a whole group of new candidates, and I know that we have, you know, a very bright future in front of us, and I'm eager to hear how, you know, outside perspectives can, you know, view us and help us and maybe influence our thinking and you know, just to undergo that process.
Okay, Chris Hayes, Orlando Sentinel.
Hey, Jeff, I was just interested in Cliff's kind of reaction to this. Was he surprised when the topic was first broached, and was there any reluctance on his part to step aside? How'd that go?
No, I mean, you know, I think that, you know, I don't want to get too drilled down into details, Chris, about like the nature of our conversations. But, you know, when I say this is mutual, you know, this is done in the pure spirit of a mutual agreement. And, you know, this is not a one-sided, you know, parting of the ways. You know, I think Cliff, as I just said, you know, did a lot of contemplating when he was away, and you know, where he is in his career and what he's looking for, and you know, the type of team that he's, you know, best suited to, you know, move forward. And you know, our conversations focused around that. So you know, that's probably all I'll kind of drill down on that, but hopefully that answers your question.
Okay, and then secondly, if you will, you said you had talked to the players. How'd you guys do that? And was there what was the reaction of the players at that time?
You know, John and I spoke to the players immediately the moment that the news broke. And I won't get into that, Chris. You know, I won't get into that. We had, you know, good talks with our players. Obviously, you know, they've, you know, played for Cliff for, you know, 1 year, half a year, you know, a couple of games, or 3 years. So, you know, they all have, you know, their own relationships with Cliff, and, you know, they're grown men, and they'll be able to, you know, manage that, you know, as they will. But I can tell you this, that there is a great excitement amongst our young group, and they stay attached, you know, whether they're together or not, you know. And you know how it is these days, especially early stages of summer. They're kind of spread out a little bit, you know, they're filtering back in now, but they are attached. They talk, whatever people do these days with their phones. But there's a great sense of excitement amongst our team right now. And honestly, it's hasn't been stronger since I've been here, about the fact that we have something special that we're going to embark upon. And so, you know, this doesn't affect that with me, and it certainly hasn't affected that with any of our players. I know the one thing I can tell you is, you know, everybody organizationally, including our players, wishes Cliff nothing but the best and is grateful for everything that Cliff's done here. But these guys are grinders, man. One guy used that word. Hey, it's, you know, I'm about to grind. Let's go. And they're very excited. So it was actually really good to talk to them all. And you know, they're chomping at the bit right now.
That was a Zoom, I'm assuming?
No, those are individual calls that John and I reached out to, you know, touch all of our players immediately after the news broke.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Kendra Douglas, West 2.
Hey, Jeff, I gotta ask, because you have just a really young team and you are getting guys that are pretty young, is it fair to kind of say you are looking for a coach that can help, I guess, build or have that foundation and build that young team instead of having a coach that may just be ready to work with stars in the Eastern Conference and kind of already ready for that competition? And then how do you find that coach, or how do you make this team a little bit more competitive to be a part of that Eastern Conference talks, since it has changed so much this year?
Yep. Thanks, Kendra. I mean, great questions. Like, first of all, we want stars too. You don't win in this league at a high level without stars. But we're not in this kind of, we have not thrown ourselves into this perpetual rebuilding mode. I'm glad you asked that. You know, we want to win. We want to win. But we're going to try to do it the right way. And we're going to do that with, you know, the development of a bevy of talented, high character young players. And so, yes, the answer to your question is yes, we do need to develop these young guys. We definitely want to move them forward. We want our team to grow and develop, and the sooner the better. That said, you know, we're not going to sacrifice the bright future that's in front of us for kind of, you know, a sugar high, you know, which I kind of felt a little bit we had been doing previously. And so I think that what we're looking for is someone that can develop young players, put them in positions to succeed, and move us towards winning as quickly as possible.
Great. We're going to get to as many as we can. Luke Hetrick, Spectrum Sports.
Jeff, two questions for you. First, not to beat a dead horse with the timeline, but how much, with some of these first round series ending, some coaches getting let go in other situations, how much did that impact your guys' decision today with Steve Clifford? And also, if you could, you had touched on Penny Hardaway earlier. Your connection was a little bit unstable. If you could also touch on his kind of potential candidacy with this team and what he could bring.
When you said my connection was unstable, I thought you meant my relationship with him, but you're saying my internet connection.
I would not insult you like that, no.
Okay. Let me hit that first. So basically, you know, what I was saying was that I don't know Penny. I know that obviously he's been a superstar NBA player, and he's part of the Orlando Magic fabric. So obviously, you know, we regard him with great respect. I think he's, you know, shown to be a talented coach in his, you know, early on in his coaching career. But beyond that, you know, I will not get into discussing names or specifics as we go forward. And you know, you guys know how we do this. We've done it before, but I will not, you know, confirm or deny, you know, coaching candidates that we're involved with. And largely that's out of, you know, respect to them and the fact that most of them will have jobs, and you know, we want to respect their desire to, you know, handle this as discreetly as possible. So that's going to be the way that we conduct it, as it was the case last time. As to, you know, the timeline and the other jobs opening, honestly, no, that really wasn't part of the math for us. You know, really it was kind of, as we've discussed, it was, you know, Cliff and I met, you know, as quickly as we could after the season, and you know, he said he wanted to kind of clear his head and think about things as was necessary for all of us. And you know, as soon as he came back, which was just last week, you know, we had talks about this stuff in earnest, and literally just this morning came to this agreement. And that's how it happened. Now, you know, if there was any external pressure kind of driving it, you know, in a more timely fashion, you know, maybe that's something more on, like I said, on their side, because there are more coaches than there are jobs, but not from our side, no.
Okay, James Hill, BNC Sports.
Hey, Jeff, I hope you and the family are well. When you look at this wonderful opportunity with a ball club with tremendous upside, there's a lot of coaches out there who would run to Orlando. The name of Reggie Theus, and he's part of the Magic family, or even a female head NBA coach. Would you just talk a little bit about that concept? And again, going forward, it's a wonderful opportunity for a coach out there that would join this team.
Well, thanks for saying that. I appreciate that. I believe that. I think that this is a tremendous opportunity to kind of get in on the ground floor of, what could be a really special group as we go forward. Obviously, I won't kind of get into any, as I just said, any specific names or candidates. I'll just say this. You mentioned, the possibility of potentially meeting with, female candidates. We won't leave any stone unturned. I can tell you that, and some of the candidates that we met with last time, you guys were aware of, and honestly, there were some that you weren't aware of, and might surprise you. But that being said, we won't let any experience level or any other kind of bucket placing, pigeonholing, I should say, to get in the way of us finding the right coach for this team.
Okay,
Thanks, Jeff. Good luck.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
We're going to go 3 more. We're going to go Mike Bianchi, Tim Reynolds, and then Josh Robbins. So go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, Jeff, just to clear this up, is it safe to say that you wanted Cliff to come back, and was he offered a contract extension?
Come on, Mike. I won't kind of get into the deeper nature of those conversations. I'll just say again that the way we release this is quite genuine. We are mutually parting ways, and I've had a good relationship with Cliff, and I'll do so after this. And I think everything that we've kind of released and everything that I've said has been 100% accurate, 100% genuine, and trying to be as transparent as possible. But obviously, the nature of those kind of private discussions should probably stay private.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Tim Reynolds.
Jeff, when you were laying out the timeline, your connection froze. Can you give us the timeline again? I'm sorry, I'm teasing you. I apologize if I got it wrong. I think it was Kendra's question that sort of alluded to this thought. If you look at the last 8 teams that are standing in the playoffs right now, it's not really the NBA Blue Bloods. Phoenix hasn't been anywhere in 11 years. Atlanta hasn't been to the second round, I think, in half a decade. When you look at stories like that, does it give you hope that this doesn't have to be a many, many years project? If you draft well, if you spend your free agent capital well, do those stories give you hope that this could get to where you want it to get to, maybe without putting a timeline on it, maybe a little quicker than some might envision?
Yeah, I think, Tim, that's it's a great point. I appreciate you making it, and it's where the league is right now. There are a lot of the kind of, teams that we looked at as potential dynasties a few years ago. Maybe they're not going to be dynasties, and obviously there's always going to be a new wave, and they're going to be the more established veteran teams. Even now, there are the older established veteran teams, the group right below them, and then you're kind of like first timers, the Phoenixes and the Atlantas that you alluded to. This is the way it's done. And I don't know how else, we talked about this after the trade deadline, but the trick isn't figuring out how to do it. This is how you do it. The trick is, can you do it well enough? And so, we are just very excited that we were able to execute those deals on draft day. We like our young players, and you talk about a timeline. When we made the trades, RJ Hampton had played all of 200 minutes, and I couldn't have told you that he'd finish the season Rookie of the Month. Who knows? Who knows what the timeline is? We're trying to bring in the right talent, the right character, and obviously now the right coach to help get us there. You know, there's a lot of work to be done. There are a lot of difficult decisions to be made. You know, we have to be about scouting our own team. Someone's told me the other day, which was a great line, as much as scouting the league. And that's what's in front of us. But this is the way it's done. And yeah, I do think we can, you know, I have said, and I do believe that we have raised our ceiling, and obviously a lot of it is unknown and it's in front of us, but that's what I love about it. It's all in front of us, because with the old rendition of this team, there wasn't much unknown in front of us. So this is the path that we embark upon. Obviously, you know, you got to do it well, but clearly there are examples, living and breathing examples right now of how teams do this. So yeah, I appreciate you saying that, Tim, and I think it's a great point.
Thanks again, Jeff.
Thank you.
Last question goes to Josh Robbins.
My friend Tim Reynolds makes a lot of great points. I'd just like to I may have a multi-part question here, Jeff, depending on how you answer this. How critical is head coaching experience at either the NBA or college levels as you consider candidates?
Well, I think it's a component. I mean, it's an important component. And for sure, if you hire someone without that experience, there have to be other strengths that you're saying, like, well, we're trusting that this will develop because we see X, Y, Z. But you know, as you lay it all out, you know, not everybody's going to have everything. So it's really, as I always come back to, it's the person, it's the fit, it's the connection, and you know, that's largely what defines a good coach: his ability to connect, you know, with players. So for sure, it's something that we'll be weighing and considering, but that's not by a long shot to say that we won't hire someone without that experience.
How much in flux is your list of potential candidates? In other words, to what degree are you still adding or subtracting, or I should say adding to that list?
I don't know on the fluxometer, but I would say that we're definitely compiling a list. You know, obviously there are some kind of candidates whom I believe have moved themselves to the front of the line. And, you know, we'll go through those names, but then obviously we've got to also consider others who may not kind of be as well known or of the household name variety, who may be nonetheless legitimate candidates. So we'll be having those discussions, you can imagine, in earnest beginning tonight.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jeff.